Yo, what is good, everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence.com, and we have some additional Nintendo NX information pertaining to EA and their unprecedented partnership with Nintendo. No, I'm joking, but we do have some information on EA as far as development kits go and their plans with Nintendo and what they want to see from Nintendo when it comes to marketing dollars and the Nintendo NX, because news has broke out, or rumor I should say, that EA Electronic Arts does have development kits for the Nintendo NX, and they've had them for quite some time at this point, but they're still unsure. But EA wants to make sure that Nintendo has a sports audience built up that's ready to purchase EA games and buy the Nintendo NX. So let's go ahead and get into some information outlined by Nintendo Life. This information comes from several EA staffers. EA was apparently one of the first publishers to get access to NX development hardware. Nintendo is citing EA as a key ally when it comes to making its next console a success. Multiple meetings in March. Meetings will apparently decide how much support EA, parentheses EA Sports arm, will be giving Nintendo in the near future. EA wants a detailed plan on how Nintendo intends to win over sports fans with NX. EA is keen to learn how Nintendo intends to build a large enough sports audience on NX. This was apparently one of the key reasons for the publisher abandoning Wii U. EA is asking Nintendo to spend more advertising dollars during televised sporting events like NFL games, NBA games, MLB games, World Cup matches, and the World Series in order to claim this audience. EA is citing the fact that both Sony and Microsoft spend a large portion of cash during such events, and that EA's titles are given prominence in promotional campaigns. Sources see Nintendo not bundling EA games with consoles as an insult. Both Sony and Microsoft are involved with such bundles. The company will be asking Nintendo to consider shipping NX consoles with leading EA Sports titles such as FIFA and Madden. During a December meeting between EA and Nintendo executives, an EA exec criticized Wii U for not having entertainment apps for MLB TV, NBA, WWE Network, NHL, Game Center Live, and the NFL. EA believes PS4 having these apps is a key reason for the machine's success among sports fans. EA wants NX to be able to run such apps or offer similar functionality. Okay, so that is a lot to take in. EA and Nintendo have had an on and off again relationship. Beforehand, in the Super Nintendo era and in the N64 era and even in the GameCube era, EA was very supportive of Nintendo. They brought their games like Madden, there was Need for Speed, there was all sorts of games from EA on Nintendo platforms. And even with the Wii, they did bring over some titles. They did have Madden, they did have EA Sports Fitness. There was actually a plethora of titles even on the Wii that did okay. But with the Wii U, EA just kind of jumped ship because it didn't have all these advanced features and things that these other developers do have, at least according to them. MLB Network and NFL Access and all that stuff. Sports fans do want to have those things on their machines, and if Nintendo does not have those things, that's going to create problems for marketing and buying games. And yeah, nobody was buying EA games on a Nintendo platform. Although I will say that some of EA's launch games, or pretty much all of them outside of Mass Effect, were gimped, and even then Mass Effect had a problem as far as the collection being way cheaper on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. But the sports games like Madden were gimped and FIFA were gimped for the Wii U launch. So EA needs to do a better job as far as if they're going to support Nintendo, make sure that they release the game that's full, that's complete, and has all the features that the other versions have. Now here's the thing though, it comes back to Nintendo to making sure that this system, the Nintendo NX, can easily port PC, PS4, Xbox One games over. So EA's lazy but does not have to do too much work when it comes to putting out their sports games on the system. Like I said before on the podcast with Mr. T and Super Metal Dave 64, it takes two to tango. So EA and Nintendo have to work together to make sure that they can sell their sports games, they can reach an audience that buys these sports games, and everyone can make money and be happy. Now the whole thing about the insult to consumers as far as not bundling titles because other companies do that, I'm not so sure about that. It could be EA does have an ego and they are a bit egotistical when it comes to those things, at least according to these staffers from EA. So maybe that's something, but I don't know if that's the big picture. The big picture is Nintendo needs to make sure that the ports can be done easily, Nintendo needs to make sure that they do have features and apps and social stuff that these sports fans do want to have in their system, because otherwise you're not going to get these guys to buy your system. Stuff like the fantasy sports that Microsoft has and the WWE Network. I know that there were some Nintendo fans complaining that there wasn't a WWE Network app on the Wii U, so Nintendo really needs to make sure that they get that stuff in line. Don't waste your time developing apps like Wii U Chat and Wii TV and stuff like that. Don't waste your time developing those that are so static and nobody uses them. Make sure that you have partnerships with these companies so you can have all those apps on there, because people do like that stuff. And make sure that you have these features, that social communication for people who play these sports games are used to, like the voice chat, peer-to-peer at any time, party chat, all that stuff, so people can get into groups and play their sports games and be happy and communicate and all that good stuff, and friend invites and universal features, all that stuff, on-screen notifications, all that stuff needs to be in there. And obviously the marketing dollars that they talked about, which is one of those things where people have been complaining about with Nintendo forever, as far as not spending enough money on marketing. And a lot of people do watch these sports stuff, so even people who aren't big fans of sports still watch sporting events with significant others, family members, and things like that. So it might be good for Nintendo to spend some marketing dollars on ESPN and on those things, because really all they advertised was like MTV. They did some Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, CW, things like that. There was all sorts of different kind of areas. I think Spike and other things, they did other stuff, but they just didn't do sports and things like that, because really the Wii U didn't have any of that. But if they're going to want to get back into the game, they're definitely going to have that on there as far as the marketing towards the sports and all of those things. I do think it's true that EA does have dev kits. Obviously Nintendo knows that EA is a huge partner when it comes to Western third-party support and how people buy consoles. A lot of people buy consoles for EA games specifically. They buy consoles to play the next Mass Effect, to play Madden, to play FIFA, to play all of those games, NHL, to play all that, but not NBA. Nobody plays that crap. No, NBA Live, nobody plays that anymore. But yeah, Nintendo needs to make sure that they do get EA on board and they have a plan ready, especially for a publisher like EA. And like I said, Mass Effect, that really needs to be on the on the Nintendo NX. I really want that game to be on there, and a lot of EA's other titles. So it's up to Nintendo and EA to work something out. Hopefully they can. I'm hopeful for the future, and this is a fresh start, in my opinion, for Nintendo garnering back some of that third-party support that they lost in the previous gens. Alright, so that basically wraps it up for this video. If you want to see the source links, where this came from, all that info, you can definitely check that out in the description below. I will have links to everything down there, but I will say that one of them comes from Nintendo Life and the other one comes from Tamaki Unseen 64. Alright, so thank you so much for watching this video here. Make sure you hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and also subscribe to PlayerEssence for all the latest news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks. Thank you so much for watching this, guys, and remember, game on. Peace.